What is going on, movie trivia Schmoedown world? Welcome back to A Certain Point of View. I am Jake Berlin, your host here on POV. Welcome back, and we are here with the first stream after the very first week of matches here on POV. Oh, real quick, let's bring on our fourth member because she just pop in the background.
Yay!
Molly Damon is with us.
Yay!
Look at that Grogu!
I dressed him up.
Yeah, there you go. So Molly was kind of going to be late, maybe going to be late, but she popped in right at the perfect time. So there we go.
I was late dressing him up. Blame him.
It's all Grogu's fault.
But yeah,
he demanded that he have an outfit. He demanded it.
Yes.
That's true. That's true. Yes, we are back. It is we guys, we are in full swing. War is officially on. Matches are coming out like crazy, and the matchups we are getting are absolutely insane. Just up top for everyone who's watching right now, the majority of the conversation is probably going to be shifted to Friday's match and the pay-per-view later in the evening after we do talk with our guest, because we will be talking about his match, obviously. We covered the Star Wars match in our reaction, and so if you want to cover or see that, go to the reaction, check that out. If you guys have questions about it, you're more than welcome to send in questions for those matches, whether it's for our guest, Mr. Amarú Moses, who will be joining us here in just a few minutes, or the Star Wars match that took place between Marie Wilson and Sean Sullivan. You guys can direct all those questions to either Super Chat or Streamlabs. It's up to you. You guys are more than welcome to ask as many questions as you like, and we will get to those when we can. But yes, we are back. It is the weekend. How is everybody doing on this Sunday? Jill, I'll start with you. How's it going?
Tomorrow's Monday.
We talked about that behind the scenes. I am not very happy.
That kind of sucks. But we're all here. So it's always a good start of my week when I get to hang with y'all. So certainly can't complain about right now. I'll be complaining tomorrow morning, but right now we're good.
That's fair. That is very
right
fair.
now we're happy.
Brian, how you doing, man?
Good. I am also dreading this work week. It is online conference week, so
Ew.
Gross.
No bueno. No bueno.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's bad in person. Online, it's even worse. So yeah,
I was waiting for someone to make this comment. Waiting for someone.
Or use it in a promo.
That's true. Good call. Good call. Molly, what about you? How you doing?
I'm good. This is actually going to be a short week for me because we are taking another cabin trip.
That's right.
Getting away.
I just came back from a trip and I'm already like,
oh no.
It's our favorite new thing to do that we discovered way too late into this whole quarantine situation,
Right?
is to just get an Airbnb for the weekend, get out of the house.
that was Sean and I. It was like, why didn't we do this at all? Like the past year? Why did we wait? Like now, thank you. I said in my resume, I rocked a real heavy guitar solo.
Well,
PJ, you deserve a vacation, my friend. You deserve a vacation.
He deserves one, but buddy, it's only week one. It is only week one.
if I could take you with me, PJ, I would.
We all go.
All right. Yes, we obviously have a lot to talk about tonight, guys. And like I said up top, we're gonna get to Marisol McKee versus Vinny Mancuso a little bit later on in the show. We will obviously talk about the first ever matchup that happened between these two players in Jeff Snyder and Dan Murrell, which seems crazy with 7 past seasons of the Schmoedown, the fact that they never play each other. And we will get to that later on. So if you guys have questions, send those in. We'll get to those later on. But for now, let's just go ahead and bring in our guest, because we do have a really cool guest tonight. And he has made his debut in the Schmoedown. He was a hot name coming into the draft. He was drafted 2nd overall, and he made a statement this past Wednesday. And that is, actually, you know what, Molly, do you want to introduce him since you know how to say his name exactly?
Oh, sure. Please welcome to the show, Amarú Moses.
I know he was waiting for that.
All I was here for. That is it.
He's like, I can go now. Bye.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you specifically corrected Christian and Mark during the match to how to say your name, I was like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to correct Mark, and I was like, I know this answer already, so I can get at him right now because he didn't say it correctly either. So yeah, that was fun.
You gotta roll the R. You just gotta roll that
you
R
do.
in there.
You do.
Amaru.
Lovely.
I will
Thank you.
continue to attempt. I will continue to
I can't, because I can't roll an ARF to save my life. So
And that's perfectly fine. Perfect.
you will be, and you shall be rude to me.
Rue is good. I will take it, sir. I appreciate it.
Well, welcome back to POV, man. I know that some people may be watching, may not realize that Amaru actually joined us a few weeks ago. He was actually on our rookie special before the draft. So this is his second official visit here on POV, but this is the first time as an official player. And your first match is in the books. It is officially there. You beat Jesse Swift of the Quirky Mercs this past week. Just right off the bat, man, how does it feel to officially be partaking in the movie trivia Schmoedown?
It's crazy. It's crazy. I have been thinking about 6 years ago, sitting at my desk in my classroom in Oakland, watching Jeremy Johns' first match and like getting into it from there, and just like year after year after year, like telling people about it and watching matches, and like I just keep seeing my face on the YouTube thumbnail and in the promos. I'm like, that's me. I'm doing that. That's crazy. The match itself, outside of it like weirdly being cold in my house and me being nervous as hell, so if you see me like shaking and fiddling with my marker the entire time, I do that normally, but it was more than I was used to. The match itself, once it started, I was in the zone and I was ready to go. It's the before when my name's getting called and Mark and Christian are talking, and the after that's like, wow, this really happened. Cool, like really cool. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm very excited to have that first match out of the way, and I am so ready to have my next one. So ready.
Yeah, I know Molly's talked about it, but it's like once you get the first, you're kind of like craving that second, right?
Yes, so much.
Because I mean, you've been cramming, you've been studying. Win or lose, you're like, okay, let's go again.
Like without a doubt. And then I'm not a glutton for punishment, but I am a glutton for just looking at the comments and looking at all the after shows and everything and saying, what are y'all saying? Okay, cool. I'll take that. So I'll show you what's going on next match. And in the back of my head, I'm like, I really hope I get to actually like do what I'm supposed to do next match and prove y'all wrong. So
there you go. He's ready.
Here we go, PJ.
He's ready.
PJ, you already know what I'm upset at you for. It was brilliant, but come on, fam. But anyway, I'm gonna let that. My first missed question was in Wizarding World, and that is the most ridiculous thing to me. But he caught me on a great question. He really caught me on a great question.
Don't you hate that? When you miss it, when you go, all right, PJ, I see you.
I was so like, really? That's my first miss? That's what cost me a perfect round when I have this thing in the background. Yeah. So, hey, I salute you, PJ. That was a good one.
That's like Jake. When we play our Apocalypse trivia, he knows I'm going to get a Harry Potter one right, so he purposely goes into Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, rude.
Right?
Yeah.
So rude.
No,
So
okay. So what I try to do, because
Here we go.
the trivia I create is I try to pull like at least 2 questions from each world is what happens. And so like Harry, I kind of follow in the
Both the same world, Jake.
So I'm saying, okay, let me explain. I kind of follow what the tournament does. I pull 2 from like the MCU, pull 2 for the Harry Potter, 2 like Lord of the Rings, etc., etc. And so what I try to do is like for Lord of the Rings, I'll do 1 Hobbit, 1 Lord of the Rings. For Harry Potter, I'll do 1 Fantastic Beast, 1 Harry Potter. And he always comes after the Fantastic Beast question. Brian, just learn Fantastic Beast. It's that simple.
I got it right, so I don't want to hear it. So
Then why are you complaining? Like
because you know that I'm going to double up on those. And that's my chance.
And this is exactly how I feel about that. Like Fantastic Beasts or Harry Potter is like getting at the Clone Wars.
Yes.
Star Wars. It's like sweet Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Clone
Damn it,
Wars.
not that one. Like, not that Star Wars. I don't want that kind.
That's fair.
You guys didn't get any Star Wars questions in that match, did you?
Not one.
Oh,
not one Star Wars question, which is kind
Bummer.
of crazy. Yeah, there was the slice was there, but not a Star Wars question to be had.
What did you think of all the new additions? Because right out of the gate, I mean, we were doing our reaction, and you could feel how different it was
From jump. from jump, and like I feel that it actually was like a 50-50 split. But if I really look back and count them, but it felt like 70% of the questions were from the new categories. That's what it felt like. Like I had to focus so much on the new ones that when the old ones came, I was like, okay, good. Oh wait, what's the new one I have to listen to now? So I'm pretty sure they were 50-50, but it did not feel that way. But it was good. I think a lot of people have been saying it. It really is going to level a lot of playing fields, make it a very interesting going forward, especially for the vets. And I mean, in terms of just as a rookie coming in with these, it also gives you a sense of, okay, like if it was still just the 10 categories from last year, I know exactly where I'm at, and I know exactly who I could go up against right now and who I couldn't. But with the new categories coming in, it's like, okay, Jesse is a lot better than people think because everybody has to put in as much work as he did to get ready. And I've been saying it a lot. Jesse puts in work. So I knew it wasn't going to be like the TKO or the KO that everybody really thought. And it's just interesting. It puts a lot more, not pressure, but it makes it a lot more like, okay, I really have to make sure I know what I'm doing going in for whoever I'm facing.
Yeah.
I will say,
go ahead, Brian.
I will say, as a thank you, you got me my first fantasy points. So a tip of the hat to you, sir.
I got my first fantasy points this week too.
I know.
We realized this week that it's now not a competition between who beats us, but which competitors win for our fantasy league. More than I think we realized was going to happen.
Yeah.
And beat Jake because he's already at 15 points, and the rest of us are either at 3 or 0.
Right.
I don't think I have any.
Draft better. Just draft better.
Ooh, you had the first pick. Don't even start.
True.
But yes, so, I mean, thank you.
You are very, very welcome. I hope to give you a lot more points throughout the season.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Jill, I know that you were saying something. Do you want to?
Well, I was going to also comment on the fact about, because like what you said with, it felt like more than 50-50 with the between new and old categories. And I think we talked about that on our, when I was watching it anyway, I was like, this feels like more new questions than old questions. So I was also getting that same, but like I dug it completely because it's something totally new and fresh. And it's not the same old, like, first question in the MCU or whatever the first round question always
screw
was.
you. That's where I was getting my points from. So I don't want to hear it.
But like it's just nice and refreshing because like every match we would always go, and for your first question in the realm of MCU, because that's what it always was. And now it's not that. And it's just nice and refreshing. And I kind of like how it keeps the competitors on their toes now because there's all these new slices. And you rocked it. Like you were like, new slices.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I just know when I heard Alien and Predator, I was like, oh, okay, we're going straight into it now.
Here we go.
Honestly, I forgot that was because I'm still getting used to all the new categories. But when I heard that, I was like, yes, Alien and Predator questions are going to be asked more and more throughout the Schmoedown, specifically IG. It's so much fun. Plus, like so many other categories, it created a very fun game. And like Jill said, it kept you guys on your toes very much. Was there something that I guess you realize that you may have known a little bit more than you knew beforehand going into the game? Or did you get a question that kind of like you realized what the question was, you realized what it was, and you may not have studied it as much previously before the match?
No, I don't want to give away things about me for future competitors, but everything for me kind of was on par of what I know and what I know I need to work on. One thing that is I did notice I did a little bit more than I liked was I overthought things. And I tend to overthink things a little bit, but I did it too much. Especially, I don't know why, but Morgan Freeman had it out for me that match.
The wanted question. Yes.
God, the name Sloan is synonymous to Entourage for me.
Yeah.
So I hear Sloan, I think of a woman, and he said Angelina Jolie. So I immediately was like, not McAvoy, not Freeman. What female villain am I missing in this movie? And this doesn't make sense right now. Exactly. So when he said Morgan Freeman, I was like, really though? I knew that. I
could tell that like, the look that you had on your face after they said Morgan Freeman. I was like, he knew that. Ugh.
Yeah,
and that's the worst.
And then follow that up with whether or not he's in a Lego Batman movie to give me my number was the other thing, and I was just like, man. So just making sure I don't overthink too much, or when I am in that mode to properly use JTEs, or that's I said it in my post game. I wasn't happy with the match in terms of like points wise, but it manifested for me. I know how to play this game. Like I knew when like the points were where I wasn't at the points I wanted. I knew where I needed to go to multiple choice. I knew where I needed to hit repeats in order to make sure I'm still in control of the game. So that I was very happy about that my control of the game, even though it's the first time in Schmoedown, my control of the game is there and is strong when my points aren't racking up as much as I'd like them to. So
I like it. Brian, did you have anything?
Yeah, I had something and I just lost it. So I was like, don't pick me. Damn it, pick me.
I'll ask. Oh,
okay, go.
Brian, you thought. Okay. How does it feel like going from the fan leagues and then competing in the Schmoedown? How is that different for you? What is it like having Christian Harloff and Mark Ellis talking in your ear as you're trying to think of the question, like the answer to these questions? Like, how does that feel just knowing that you went from the fan leagues to big time now? Like, what are the differences of that, and how did that affect your gameplay?
It didn't really affect my gameplay. It was just more so of a relief while playing to be like, okay, I've been in the fan leagues for a couple years now. I know a lot of people who have been in the fan leagues for a while, and I felt relieved and vindicated and good. It's like, we do this for a reason, and if we are given that spotlight, we can live up to that challenge. And as much as I possibly can, I will rep for the fan leagues here all day, and it makes me feel like we do it for a reason, and we can get rewarded for these things, and we can and it's not just a random thing we're doing. We love this game, and being able to move into the Schmoedown pretty seamlessly lets me know that I can keep loving what I'm doing, and the people I did it with could follow that same path, whether they want to come through or they don't. I just felt really good to be able to represent for the fan leagues and show what we can do with what Chance and Collins and Oyama have already done, and with the plenty of people y'all are going to see in the future. So
I'm excited. I've loved every single person that has come up from the fan league. So I'm excited to see the rest of the fan league 4. I'm excited to see more of these fan leagues compete this season. Can't wait to see more of them. And you proved once again that the fan leaguers are not people to mess with. Nuh-uh.
Okay, I remembered because it was kind of similar to it's kind of similar to what Jill's was. At what point were you? Yeah, only 3 more. At what point it's similar to Jill's, but at what point were you like, oh my God, this is actually about to happen? And like, did you start kind of like, okay, this is really happening?
The second I saw Mark Ellis. I had talked to Christian. I'd had some conversations with Christian already. I'd had some back and forth, but the whole time I was waiting for like, where's Mark? So yeah, I had a message I needed him to pass along. So to be able to do that, I was also happy. I can't remember where I said it. I was on Hollywood Game Night with Eliza Schlesinger. So I was able to ask Mark to let her know that I was still mad about her being the reason I lost that.
Nice.
Oh, no.
She was absolutely amazing, but on the other team. So that was when he came on. I was like, oh, I'm really doing this. Okay, let's go.
That's so cool.
We love Mark Ellis. We love precious baby Mark Ellis.
I mean, I think it'd be wrong for anybody to not be absolutely just starstruck by Mark Ellis every time.
or the occasional Molly sighting.
That is true.
Yeah,
background.
have we seen Molly at all this season?
Yeah,
rearranged his
our
camera.
ratio right now is less Molly versus seeing Molly the dog. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, Molly the dog, in case anyone was confused. They're like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Molly's right there. We're talking about Molly the dog.
Molly, did you have anything you wanted to ask Amarú?
Yeah, well, so I don't know too much about the fan leagues, but now that you've got your first official Schmoedown game under the belt, is there anything about recording, playing the game that you maybe thought was going to happen and it didn't happen, or you didn't think was going to happen and did happen? And going forward, is your study habit going to change at all? Like the way that you are going to be studying for matches? Did your first match change any of that?
No, it was pretty straightforward in terms of getting, in terms of how I prepare and how I get ready for matches. I think the only, maybe the only difference is just timeline wise and getting ready, getting the promo set up, like knowing when you need to get promos in, what I want to do, what they want us to do for the promos, how long between when we're gonna when we hear about the match, when we're setting the date, when we're recording. I think the biggest difference is timelines, really, and getting used to like a longer break in between matches. So because right now, like this time last year, I was off a match. I'm like, all right, I know this is next. I know this is next. I know this is where I'm going next. And I'm like continuously studying. And I have a little bit of a break where I'm like, I don't have to jam pack things right now, but I know I need to like at least watch a movie a day, and kind of getting that type of schedule and routine in my head is the biggest difference.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How was it shooting your first promo for the Schmoedown?
It was fun. It was different. Luckily for me, I was able to be me just a little bit more extra. I'm kind of extra when I get on camera anyway. I think it's what I'm gonna have most fun with is again, those little digs I get to put at people. I love doing it. I just really do, and finding ways to like still come off as still be humble, still respect the opponents, but to find little ways I can jab here and there. That was very fun. That was extremely fun to do, and I look forward to continuing to be able to find ways to just get under my opponent's skin just enough for them to be like, man, it's a cool dude, but did he just say that about me? I was like, yes, I did. So
that's a big thing with a lot of the competitors is trying to get under people's skin, and it definitely works a lot of the time.
It does.
Yeah.
For some.
Sure.
What comes next? What are you like? If you had, so now that you're 1-0, you're 1-0 in the movie trivia Schmoedown, right? You're in the IG division. You were, as much as you've probably heard already, you were the second overall pick in the draft. Is there someone that you would like to play, or that you kind of see your path headed towards, or is it just like, give me whoever you want, I'm ready to play?
It is give me whoever y'all send my way, I will play. It hasn't really changed since before I started though. I want to see what I can do against Hannah. I really do. He's been the one that Brian, don't you do that to me right now. Brian Nussbaum, don't do that to me right now. That will happen eventually. We have spoken a couple of times. That will happen at some point, and that will be a very epic match. I would love to see that. Very much so. Give me anybody. But Hannah's always been the one for one reason or another. He's kind of been my barometer of what I think I can do. And I truthfully, I halfway want to have my best match to like shut people up, but I also don't want to set that expectation so high to have to do that every single time, because that's really hard to do. Like I go in every match. I believe I can do that. Again, I was really upset to not get that perfect round. and I feel like I can go into every match getting a perfect round out the gate. So whenever my best shows, I'm ready to like really show and prove that I deserve that second overall pick. So, but yeah, Hannah would be fun.
What did everyone think about Moses versus Hannah?
I would
Say
love to
again?
see that.
Okay.
Does Ralph get to make an appearance?
That's so Chuck beat you to it, but there you go. To beat Hannah,
Yeah, you must face Ralph.
I mean Hannah, Ralph, Hitman, whoever you want to send my way.
Well, I mean, look, there's an opportunity. Brandon Hannah faces Eric Zipper not this week, but the following week. And if Hannah does win that, obviously your paths could be set that way. Leo here says I could see him playing Saul. If Saul wins this week, which is possible, his match is this Wednesday against John Humphrey. So that's obviously a possibility as well.
Yeah. That would definitely be a great match as well. I know Saul was somebody last year who like didn't get the opportunity to really show what he can do, and that man is beastly. So that would be fun as well.
And speaking of Brandon, he played really well against Brandon Hannah, but he misinterpreted his medals in the MCU. Essentially, is what happened during that match. And he only has one match under his belt too, so that's definitely a possibility. Anybody else have any questions for Amarú before we? Brian, go ahead.
Mine's like kind of two-parter. First, when you heard your name announced as the second overall, thoughts that went off.
Should I curse or not?
So curse words, essentially.
Yes, the Samuel L. Jackson curse word came out immediately.
I actually prefer you saying that full thing than the whole word, just because it's fun to think about.
Yes. So that happened. That was my immediate first thought. Like, Sam Levine is huh? Yeah. So yes. That was the immediate thought.
And then also, you obviously have a lot of friends because the fan league. How much do you like talking crap to the other ones on other teams now that they're like opponents of yours compared to just like people you may or may not play?
We actually haven't gotten to that point yet. It's gonna be fun when we get to that point. But I think right now it's still all of us ganging up on all the other factions. That's what's still happening right now. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. That it's that we're not at each other's throats yet. So I'm also a little bit. I'm also a little. Oh,
no, you're good.
I'm back.
You're good.
There we go. All right, I'm back. Yeah, I would say I'm also a little bit, but a lot of bit scared of Christina. So I don't really want to get to that point with her. So,
I mean, fair.
Exactly.
If there is ever a fan league for Civil War, I want that on this show.
Yes, please.
I want that on this show.
That'd be fun.
You have exclusive rights, at least on my behalf.
Yes.
All right. Well, if anybody doesn't have any other questions for Amarú, we'll let him go out of here. And Amarú, just want to, thank you again for popping on the show, man, hanging out. You're obviously always welcome back on here.
Thank you so much.
Anytime you want to talk any kind of IG matches or when your stuff comes up, we're happy to make room for you here, and super excited to see you here in the coming weeks and months, man.
I'm very excited as well. Always a pleasure to be on here.
Appreciate it, man. Well, good luck to everything, and we'll see you next time, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
All right. He's
I love how pumped he is, and especially about getting those digs in. Like, even if I were to go like full heel, I still have problems just like in the moment taking jabs at people because I'm like, I'm sorry.
Don't hate me, please.
I don't want to do this, but
I don't want to destroy you, but if I
have to.
Real quick. We did get a Streamlabs from Mr. Rick Franco, who simply donated $25 with no comments. Rick, thank you.
Rick, say something.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, just sound like, even if you want to send just like a single letter or something, like we appreciate it, though. Also, we did get a super chat from Mr. Tim Sim here. Oh, wrong one.
That is Chuck.
And he says, "Heads up, I'm just dropping by as soon as I'm interviewing Adam Collins tonight for something that's coming
fun.
soon in the Facebook page and my Twitter." Awesome, Tim. Well, good luck on that, man. Adam is
Totally said hi. And that
Adam is a treat.
plug our happy hour show.
There you go, Jill. Go for it.
I was like, if we don't,
Plug our show. Thank you.
So in about 2 weeks' time, the next episode of Happy Hour will be going live on March 20th with Mr. Adam Collins and Marisol McKee. Deception will be joining Jill and Molly for that episode. It's going to be a crazy one. Expect chaos. It is St. Patrick's Day themed episode, and the drink is going to be awesome. That'll come out the week of the show.
I am not a drinker, and I am actually very excited to try this drink. So just putting that out there.
I've been getting a lot of DMs and a lot of comments. We have the main drink. Sean is the one who created it. We're just getting the final kind of touches and tweaks in there before we officially make that announcement.
It's a process. It is
a process, y'all. It's a
slightly convinced that Sean is purposely still not perfect. Just a couple more taste testers. Here, Jill, try this one.
Like to taste it because after one of them, I'm just like,
yeah. This one will knock you on your toes, or on your butt, on your toes, butt. But it'll knock you over.
It'll knock you on your butt. It'll knock you on your butt. Is what
it will.
Knock you on your toes.
It'll. There's something with toes.
Wait, does that stand you back up from already being knocked down?
At some point, you'll be on the floor if you drink more than one or two of these.
I'm sure I'm going to have about 3 of these while we're live. So,
well, according to Ryko, he wants a drink along.
Do it.
Oh God,
Join
a sing along, drink along, one of these Patreon ones. God.
Yeah, we'll be posting the drink and the recipe as soon as Sean perfects it.
Yeah, we're not gonna rush the mixologist at his process. So,
ooh, at the end of, go ahead.
We'll have it hopefully this week.
I was gonna say at the end of the year we'll have to put out like happy hour recipe book.
Make an actual recipe book, yeah.
We could.
Just make like a PDF file. We can send it out to everybody. I mean, that's
a drinking book.
Ooh, that could be a Patreon thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
We could add extra cocktails in there.
Oh. We might have
Like
came up with an idea. If you guys are, let's plug. If you guys are interested in our Patreon,
If you guys are interested in that, check out our Patreon.
Check it out. The link is right there. It's in the description below. We do watch-alongs. We do extra reactions a month. The Q&A is bonkers. The March edition of the Q&A is awesome. It's a lot of fun. Also, you get interaction with Happy Hour. You get to kind of be involved with what happens with the show. And so check that out.
And I flipped Jake off with Infinity Gauntlet in this episode.
I love that thing so much.
Thank you,
Bye,
Christina. We'll talk soon. I know your match is
coming
coming up.
We will be seeing you soon.
Yeah, well, her match is coming up soon, which is very exciting. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. So, Jill, I do want to get your quick thoughts on the Jesse Swift Amaru Moses match, just because you weren't with us on the reaction. You watched it ahead of time before us, and you kind of gave us like little teases of what was going on. What did you think of their debut match?
I thought it was great. I thought it was a super fun match. They're both clearly hungry and excited to be in the Schmoedown, and you could obviously tell, and that made it fresh and exciting to see. Like, this is the first time in a long time we've seen 2 rookies compete against each other, and so just that alone made me really excited.
Right out the gate.
Right out the gate. And Amaru and Jesse are both just these beacons of light, and they're both precious, and they just make me smile. And they both killed it for their first match. I thought they did really well. They did great. They missed here and there, but it's your first match. It's going to happen. But they were confident. They were just focused, and I enjoyed every second of it. I thought it was super rad, and I'm excited to see both of them.
They have great personalities, both of them.
They have great personalities, like super personalities.
I really want Jesse to come out, since his last name's Swift, and do that part from Dodgeball where he goes like, shoes. Like, what does he say when he does it with his hand?
Don't mess with. Oh God. I can't think of the line. In Dodgeball.
Oh,
yeah.
When they're at the bar. That's what
yeah.
about.
Except I want him when they go like, Jesse, the Jackal, Swift. Come on. That if you saw that,
Now I
you would...
just want Chance Ellison to come out if he ever has a live event. All of corruption needs to come out with the
Yeah, the Cobras.
Cobra.
Oh my gosh.
Cobras.
Can you imagine if at like a live reaction, just corruption starts coming out going?
I would,
Like in a
to be honest, I would absolutely double my Patreon on the Schmoedown just to see it. Absolutely, I would die to see Mike Kalinowski doing the
Next corruption meeting. I'll bring it up, and they'll all laugh at me and be like, "That's probably not going to happen." But I will fight for it to happen.
To Brian's Swift comment, if Dodgeball was an IG movie, I bet you he'd make a rap about it. But we'll have to pass that on to him because he did. That was kind of his promo thing.
Jesse's raps were amazing. I was dying.
Yeah.
And now the problem with that though is now he has to do that in every single promo.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
Set the
man.
bar, sir. You set the bar, and now it needs to be met every single time. So keep those raps a coming.
Now I'm really
all right.
curious what the hand scene was. What does he say? Ugh, it's gonna drive me annoying. That didn't make any sense.
It's gonna drive you
wait,
annoying.
Isn't this Stomp the Yard, Amaru? Tell me I'm right. I think this is Stomp the Yard.
It's been forever since I saw that. I don't remember.
I think that is Stomp the Yard. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Okay, so let's go and shift gears to the next match before we get to the real discussions of Friday's event. We do have a Star Wars match. Marie Wilson gets the victory against Sean Solan on this one. We obviously covered it a lot in our reaction, but just after we sat it over for the weekend, quick thoughts. Obviously about Marie taking on the victory and moving on. She's a suspect as well. Molly, I'll start with you on this one.
I thought it was a good match. I'm happy for Marie. Feels like I don't know, like all the Dragon Con players have this stigma already placed on them to like do really well, and I'm glad that she, proved everybody that she belongs to be here, and she's got a chance to really blow through some people. So I'm happy for her win.
Brian?
Yeah, Brian kind of took what I was about to say with it by saying suspects went 2-0 this week, so good week for them. And last year we know that Sam didn't have really that much of an IG presence. So he's already got someone that's getting him points, so that's a plus for him. Sean and Marie's match was great. I quite enjoyed it, and y'all sleeping on Sean. Just saying, he every time loses. If he loses, not by a lot. It's close. So,
Well, and
Yeah.
I wanted.
I
to
did also
add-
wanna-
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Sean is best Sean. I'm calling it.
It's best Sean. It is. Even when he's attacking me. Even when he's attacking.
oh, that's the best Sean.
Even when he takes over my show.
Yeah. I
Access
will
to our
add
speakers.
to what Brian was saying. I'll add. It's great to see Marie come out of the gate and get a victory. Obviously, she had a lot of hype up around her, and all the Dragon Con players do, right? It's just kind of the nature of the game. But and I'm looking forward to seeing what she does and who she faces next, and seeing what she does with other questions and maybe in a different category and stuff. But the match reminded me of when Laura lost to Ace last year, right? Sean was kind of like in control up until one question that just threw him.
Mhm.
It just threw him, and then it became Marie's game.
I mean, he went into third round up.
He had a
was
2-point lead. Yeah, he had a 2-point lead. Yeah.
So
Or 1-point lead, excuse me. Yeah, you're right. And it's interesting, obviously Sean only had the 2 matches last year. He went 1-1. And he would have had the TKO last year up against Adam Witt if Adam Witt didn't pull that crazy 5-pointer.
Darn it, Adam. Freaking
and then-
Delphine.
And then he plays great up against Laura. And again, Laura had to play perfect to beat him. it just seems like he has this string of like slight bad luck at the moment.
Have I said that on air that he's the Whitney Seibold of the Star Wars division?
I don't feel like it's going to last though, because I do think that at some point, and I think it'll happen the next match, whether it's the tournament or something that happens beforehand, he's going to get something that pushes him over the edge, and then he's going to get like that, like an athlete string where they go on a run of great things that are happening for them, and he gets the questions he wants. The answers come quickly. He's spinning the wheel. It just feels like he's ready for something that's going to go his way, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that reminds me, like, and now that they're both on the same faction, I feel like Scrimshaw has always had rather bad luck in his games. He's always done really well and gotten like that one just wacky, weird question that throws him off a little bit. Maybe they can bond over that, and help each other figure it out.
Their unluckiness. But I mean, yeah, and like watching the match, you could tell that even though he missed those 2 in round 1, he was still incredibly confident going into his round 2, and he crushed those Attack of the Clones questions. He was like, Attack of the Clones, boom, 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 like done. He was confident, and then stuff happened, and then it's just unlucky, unfortunately. And Marie killed it. I'm super stoked for her to see another strong woman in this division. I am incredibly excited for. Am I disappointed she had to beat Sean in order to win? Yes, but I mean that's just me being biased. From a non-biased standpoint, I am super excited that there is another strong female competitor in this league. But speaking for Sean, I will say, as soon as that match was over, he looked at me and said, "Bring on the next one." He's ready. He's ready for his next match. We haven't stopped studying. He's ready. He's hungry. He wants to play again, and it's going to be a W in his belt his next match. I can guarantee it.
Love it. Good point here by Brian Nussbaum. Amaru and Marie were Sam's first 2 picks, first 2 matches out of the year, and 2 victories. That's kind of big. And it's divisions, that he didn't have strength in last year, right? He had Molly and suspects for Star Wars, but there was no depth, right? He's got the depth now, and he didn't have IG at all, and now he's got victories in both those divisions, and that's kind of what he struggled with last year. And Molly only got the few matches that she had last year.
Yeah, you came in halfway through the year already.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. We had Janine.
But even that's like it almost felt like she was kind of like thrown in IG at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
Because she was very much a teams and singles player, but she's obviously playing IG now, and it may have lit a little fire under her. But Sam, his draft, I know a lot of people questioned it, but his draft, it's looking good so far. It is definitely looking good so far. All right, let's get to the next one, the big one that we have not discussed yet, because we did not do a reaction to it, and that is Marisol McKee and Vinny Mancuso. This is the first time that we get to see Vinny and Winston work together. We obviously get to see Shannon and Marisol back together for Corruption. Marisol takes the victory on this one in a very close match. Very, very, very close match. And Vinny, and he said in his promo, he's just someone who has been overlooked, and he showed that he can be a really good singles player. And it's very interesting to see where his path goes the rest of the year. Him and Winston seem to be on good terms. The first time we've seen that all year, out of all the players that Winston has played with, which is a big deal. Brian, I'll start with you on this one, man. What did you think of Marisol and Vinny?
So I had one last thing to say before we jump to this one about Sean. His little promo where he said the thing to Christian about you're going to say some name wrongs and blah, blah, blah. Dying.
Yeah.
Dying.
The best.
And then I'm kind of almost convinced that Christian started calling Sean by the wrong name on purpose. Maybe.
Yeah, he was calling him Sam?
Yeah. So, but yes, that part, I had cramps in the side from laughing so hard. Anyways, for the Vinny and Marisol, holy moly. Hello, Zach Burkett. That was such a back and forth one. And that was so good on so many levels. I mean, it wasn't an undercard, but it might as well have been, because that was that is what you are hoping for as a lead up to a Snyder versus Merle match, because those two absolutely played till the end. And I late realized that Vinny's on my fantasy team, so darn Marisol. But yeah, no, there was no disappointment in that match at all. That was such a good match, and both of them are so good.
I'm gonna bring up this comment real quick for Buck, and I'm gonna disagree with this pretty heavily, because Marisol was given opponent's choice and sent in the second round.
Yeah,
she worked her way through the Lord of the Rings.
And not even opponent's choice, Middle Earth.
Yeah,
yeah.
And she, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but 3 of the 5 questions she got for 2 points, which is something you don't ever see for an opponent's choice given to something, especially something like Middle Earth. That's
in the same division.
Yeah, she had to battle her way, and she may be a Middle Earth fan. I don't know, but when you're given Middle Earth, typically that's like almost a death card to a lot of people. It really is.
When I saw that, I went, oh.
Yeah, and also this is also a great point by the king himself. A win is a win, period. Totally agree. Yeah. It does not matter what the accuracy or the stats or anything. She got the W. It does not matter how you get it, period.
Yeah, I was super excited when she got Middle Earth, and I was just like, please. Like, I had faith that she knew enough Middle Earth for what singles Middle Earth might look like, and she did great. And I was just like,
not an Alex Damon, Robert Parker exhibition overtime match that goes on forever.
Yes. But yeah, some of those, like the Gollum question that she got, like how many movies is Gollum in? That one was kind of tricky. So I think she did great. There was so many other slices on that wheel that I thought he was going to give her for opponent's choice, but I don't know singles and how everybody's brains can know that much about regular movies. So.
And that's another thing to add too in Marisol's favor is that not only did she get opponent's choice, but Vinny stole a question from her, and she still won.
Yes,
that's very true. Good call. A good call.
So I thought she killed it.
To be honest, like if you're not an IG player, and this is completely not how it is, but like if I see a singles player get like Lord of the Rings, I'm like, ooh, that might be kiss of death.
I think it's just a natural reaction.
Yeah. So like, unless I know that you're like someone that reps the Shire on like a daily in singles, I'm assuming that is going to be difficult.
And I do want to bring, because Brandy mentioned it, and I was going to say something, but Brandy mentioned the comments. Quote of the year has already been said.
100%.
It took me like to the 4th time to figure that.
It was.
Oh my god! I literally had to because I was watching it at work. I literally put my phone down and paused it and went.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
So good.
Her little entrances in her promos, whether she's slamming a table, jumping off a jungle gym, and slamming the feet, like I'm now expecting those things because I love how they start. Every time I'm like, oh, where's she? And then boom, and you're like, oh, okay. Superhero entrance. Just saying.
Superhero landing.
Landing. Thank you. That's more.
Superhero landing.
It's still kind of an entrance, you know. It's still
I'm just curious. When we do, if she does a live match, is she going to jump from the ceiling? Like, where is she going to come in from? Is the floor going to shoot her up?
Yes. Like Impossible style. She's going to like dun 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 and like.
I feel like all the dudes in Corruption are gonna carry her down on like one of those.
Oh yes.
There's someone's gonna be having a fan.
Yeah.
Someone's feeding her grapes. Like
something in like Spartacus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be crazy.
I need that now.
Okay, so I will say to Marisol, I know a lot of people are like, oh, not maybe not the best viewing or match play or whatever. Guys, it's the first match of the year. Okay. It is the first match of the year. It is March. I don't even know the date right now.
7th.
It is March 7th.
Currently.
We have all the way until like November until matches end. She's going to be fine. She is going to be fine. As far as Vinny goes, I am very excited to see what Vinny does.
Me too.
Not just for his promo work, but also him and Winston have kind of like this very weird chemistry between each other that
That
works.
frat boy. They got that frat boy vibe going on.
This bro Winston is very strange. This bro Winston is very strange, and he's like sipping a drink and working out at the same time, and it's like such a different vibe. But after everything he's going through, I mean, dude, knock down a few if you have to. Like he's struggling with his squad right now.
Yeah.
And even though they took the loss on this one, it's definitely a bright spot because Vinny and look, he got John Carpenter when it's something he wanted in round 2. He played very well. Clearly, he's kind of a horror type of guy or a thriller type of guy with movies. He's in the business, and he just got a really hard 5-pointer that he just didn't know. And that's just what it comes down to. And, Marisol takes the victory on it. And she got a really great 5-pointer, by the way, in the Bagger Vance question of where it was located. Brilliant to PJ and company for that one. Because, I mean, for someone who has watched the movie as much as I have, it came to me immediately. But it's also very tricky. It can also be a very tricky question if you don't know, like, the context of the movie. But
I just picked Georgia because I know that's where Molly's from. So I was like, Georgia.
Well, I
was
didn't
right.
even think Georgia when I thought Southern.
This one is funny because of the joke that Alex actually knows about sports movies. I don't know that Alex has ever seen this movie, but he knows it's about golf. And he knows that
No, I
the
didn't know
Masters tournament is held in Georgia.
Augusta, Georgia.
And
Yep.
so
That's where the movie is.
he just like straight up was like, Georgia?
Yeah.
And I was like, who are you?
Have fun, PJ. Tell Sean hi.
Oh, fun.
Oh, hi, Alex.
Alex is like, I know about sports.
Real quick, a super chat from the birthday boy himself, John Kaiser.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Kaiser. Vinny Ice
Yay.
Pick, you're welcome. # Iceman. Yeah, I mean, it works out well. And I love that he still has the margaritas with him. He still
Yes.
sipping on the margarita.
I don't know if Molly can confirm, but do margaritas taste better in a blender?
I'm sure they do. I haven't tried it, but you know what? That's gonna go on my list of things to do right now.
There you go.
The next, they're going to see a happy hour episode with a blender full of
God,
margaritas.
are we gonna drink straight out of blenders?
I mean,
That's
I
the
did.
episode that we have Vinny on.
If
That's
we
the
have
episode
Vinny on, we have
Vinny
to.
Yeah.
Can I drink
I mean,
it with a straw? Can I use a straw though? Like,
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we did. Oh God,
Ooh.
please
That would
explain
be
it to me,
that art.
Sports Edition,
Make
please.
that art. Make that,
Give me Alex Damon. Explain it to me.
Make him as a
Sports
Braves
Edition.
player or something and just put sports explained.
Yeah. Molly's not even entertaining. She's like, that's not even happening.
All right, let's go ahead and shift to the big one here. Obviously, the biggest match of the week. It came down to the first ever Schmoedown versus. First of all, I want to say the graphics and the look of it all is brilliant. The whole video game vibe to it is really cool. But it was Jeff Snyder and Dangerous Dan Murrell going up in the first ever match between the two of them in a number 1 contender shot to take on the current champion and Adam Collins.
How is this their first meeting?
I don't understand that
Right?
at all.
It blows. That's accurate.
It's 7 seasons, and I think Dan,
almost like
Dan debuted in like 2 or 3, I want to say, and it was similar timing. But for at least 4 seasons, they've never played a singles match against each other.
like I obviously they haven't, but it's like I don't believe that. Like it's just like one of those things where you're just like, they haven't played each other? Like, no, that can't be right.
Do you want to know what number victory Jeff Snyder is for Dan Murrell? How many matches?
17.
16?
It's his 17th victory.
Yeah. 17.
That's
17th
wild.
victory.
It's just like though you think those two are just so synonymous with these ultimate players in the Schmoedown, and then you're just like, this is the first time they're playing each other, and you're like, no.
Well,
What?
Yeah.
No.
to that point, Brian, you have the greatest singles player of all time, and you have the greatest team players of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have they ever played in a teams match?
I want to say that's actually a really good call.
Patriots versus
I
Founding
think
Fathers. Is that
you know
ever a
what?
thing?
I think Dan might have been retired, and someone can fact check me on this.
Leah,
Yeah, have they ever
Dan
played
might have
team-
been retired while the Patriots were running.
What
and
about
then the
even odd
Patriot-
couple
The Odd Couple and Founding Fathers have had to have played at some point.
Seems like people are saying no. So
wow, Tachyon says they haven't. Wow.
Even that is crazy to me.
So they haven't played in any division. That's insane. That's insane.
That's crazy.
Too bad Founding Fathers isn't a thing anymore. Can you imagine like a Patriots versus Founding Fathers like now? That'd be fun.
Dan's doing very well in the dungeon. Thank you very much. We don't need the Founding Fathers.
Don't need it.
All right, so
excuse me.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Oh God. Let's talk the actual match itself here, because out of the sheer awe that these gentlemen have never played each other, they come down and right out the gate, they both do a JTE.
That was insane.
Do it. First of all, again, to the writers, bravo for stumping the two of the goats of this league. It just shows the level of question writing that is happening, and the placement and the way that they're written has really been throwing competitors off. And it's a lot of fun to see from our end because it's making the game more fun and difficult.
I don't think I've ever seen each player use a JTE on the same question, yet alone the first question.
And when they asked that question, and they were using their JTEs, I knew exactly what was going through their heads, and I was like, oh God, because I was doing the same thing.
Me too. I was looking at the movie in my shelf and going, yes, no, yeah, no. And then when it happened, I was like, yeah, they did the exact same thing I was doing. So
that start the whole match was just like, imagine if that was at a live event and like they both used a JTE like that.
PJ got to come back just for this one.
I thought
I would throw that comment up there, but we're trying to be a little friendly on the show this season. So, thank you, PJ. Thank you, PJ.
You were gone. Where did you go?
But yeah, so ultimately, obviously, Dan takes the victory on this one. It comes down to the final question. A lot of things have happened in the middle of the match, but let's just kind of go over overall thoughts before we kind of get in some nitty gritty of it. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. I don't know why.
I was trying to think, how many overalls did you just say?
Jill, I'll let you start on this one. Merle Snyder finally happened. Did it live up to the hype?
Oh, I think 100% lived up to the hype. Because for me, I know when, because Dan was ahead in round one, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's."
I'm going to go back through it right now just to make sure, but yes.
Dan, that's over. It's game over. Dan has the lead. But when it comes to players like this, you never really know what's going to happen. So I think throughout the entirety of the match, it was really complete nail biter, especially when Jeff pulled his 5-pointer with like this by the skin of his teeth when the clock was counting down. And from there it was, in Dan's hands. If he missed it, he lost. And so he had to pull his 5. And I thought it completely lived up to the hype. I was excited throughout the entire thing. I still stand by the fact that Roxy is the Snyder whisperer, and she is the only man.
She's so good at calming down her players.
Talking with Snyder. Like she should have a shirt like the Snyder whisperer, because she is the only person who I think can get Jeff.
Give her a shirt that says "Calm the F down."
And so the first time we saw her was after round 1, and so after round 1 it was 7-6. Dan Merle versus Jeff Snyder was 7-6 after round 1, which is crazy. But so Snyder obviously had a little fumbles in the first round, and he was kind of struggling. He had written something, then not written something, and when she popped on screen before someone even asked her a question, she said, "Jeff, get out of your head. I know what you're thinking right now."
She knew right away.
Immediately. Like it was within a heartbeat that she knew exactly what was happening.
It's why she was contender for Manager of the Year last season, is because the way she works with her, like I said, she is this Snyder whisperer. I don't think Jeff could ever work with another manager because Roxy is just so good with him and knows what exactly to say to get him in that mindset. And clearly it works because he was amazing last season because he had Roxy in his corner. But I enjoyed every second of this match. Dan took the victory. It was great. I'm assuming we're going to be talking about the cutscenes after we're all done talking about the
We
match.
will be
those
talking about all the cutscenes. Yes.
were great. But I dug this match. I thought it was great. It lived up to the hype. There was no perfect round one, which honestly surprised me a bit. Like with both of those players, I thought there would at least be one perfect round one, but the fact that there wasn't surprised me, but also was like, cool. I'm kind of glad there wasn't a perfect round one.
I'm kind of loving the no perfect round ones.
And I wanted to say to that point, I have always thought that the game is better when number one contender matches, title matches, tournament finals are much more difficult than your regular season matches.
Yes.
Like to me, and this is obviously all stuff that goes behind the scenes or whatever, but to me, if you're reaching a number one contenders match, it needs to be a title level of questions. Because if you win, you're going to compete for the belt. And so I don't expect to see perfect rounds in a number one contender match or title match, because I want them to be really difficult and thinkers. And just like this match did, the first question out of the gate, they both throw JTEs up and they're both thinking and cross-referencing and being like, wait, is this the right person? Is this the right person? Questions that are super deep thinkers, but also like if you know the movie, you will also know what they're talking about. And that's, again, bravo to the way that the questions are being written and the way they're being placed inside the matches. I think it's been great this season, like absolutely perfect.
That first question was the sneakiest question I think I've seen.
And PJ is writing. He goes,
yeah. Well, because I mean, all the ladies that are in the movie, they were both nominated for stuff. So you're like, okay, well, that eliminates like that, figuring it out through that. And it's just like the first question you're going, wait, is it this one?
See, that's where exactly. That's how I knew it, is because I know my Little Women. And so I was like, okay.
Same. But yeah, that was a good one. That was a good first round. Like, that it's going to be a scrap when those two levels of players are putting numbers like they did in the first round. And I enjoyed it because it makes it even that much scarier, because it's not a 5-rounder, it's a 3-rounder. So like things are going to matter at certain places, probably more than they usually do. So I enjoyed it. I really dug this match.
Real quick to this question, if we want to talk about this, should number one contender matches be 5-rounders? I would say no, because there's something special about 5-rounders for belt matches.
Yeah, and tournament ones,
and the tournament finals too. Yeah.
Oh, I would say only,
but
I would say only. Oh God.
Sorry, I was just thinking about my match with Laura. Like, I kept expecting to hear harder questions, and like that just kind of got into my head, and that's why I kind of like fumbled a little bit in round one, because I was like, these seem a little softball-y for a contender match. So that really threw me off, just because I was expecting something out of left field.
I would say no, for the fact of the belts, for the most part, kind of go in rotation more than your regular sport would. Mm-hmm. Like, you're seeing multiple exchanges, potentially, unless you're in the Star Wars division, in a year. Like, it is a very rare occurrence that someone's holding onto a belt for a whole entire year. So you kind of think about the frequency of maybe possibly how many of those number one contender matches are in 5-round, tournament. Like, it just kind of adds more and might diminish the value a little bit of those 5 rounds. Because like we said, I mean, we're already within this month going to have 2 title matches. That's 5-rounders. Put Dan's and Jeff's, that would be another 5-rounder if that was a thing. So it just kind of starts to add up that you're like, let's maybe make them a little bit more on the special side. So, I mean, plus you kind of are grinding them out when it's a 3-round against caliber players such as Snyder and Merle. So
And it also takes away questions if you add more rounds.
exactly that too.
Yeah.
All right, before we move on, and we'll continue our conversation about this match and the cutscenes after this, but we do have a couple of Streamlabs that have come through. First one is from Mr. Brandon Buck himself, a $25 donation. Buck, thank you. And he says, "This is
you get that job, by the way.
Yeah, dude, good luck, man. Good luck.
Nailed that interview."
He says, "This is a thank you to Jake for being so awesome and helping me and Jeff out on Schmo Me the Money. Dude is killing it on our thumbnails. You got welcome. You guys are very welcome. I'm happy to help with you guys. If you guys don't know of the channel Schmo Me the Money, Brandon Buckingham and Jeff Alterman, they're doing this great show where it's a debate. It's a debate show on top of a lot of other things. They review like WandaVision and stuff. But Jill and I have been on their Schmo Me the Money show. Currently 2-0. Just saying. Rocking POV very well over there on Schmo Me the Money. So go check them out, guys. Give them a subscribe, and they're having really cool discussions on Schmoedown over there. Next
POV
one,
just likes yelling at people and telling them that they're wrong.
yeah, it's really really cool. Next one's from Deacon, and he or she had said, "Just wanted to send you all a little love. Thank you, Deacon. Much appreciated."
Thank you.
And then
sent back.
Jeff Alterman actually sent in a Streamlabs as well, a $25 one as well. Hey, y'all, great show so far. Keep up the great work. Just wanted to shout out Jake, one of the best guys out there, for everything he's done helping Buck and I with some of our graphics for Schmo Me the Money. Again, seriously, it's okay. I'm happy to help you guys. And again, I will just go check out Schmo Me the Money. Go check out Schmo Me the Money, guys. All right, does anybody have any final thoughts on what happened with Merle and Snyder? Maybe the final round? The fact that Snyder didn't shoot a promo, the way that he didn't do comments after the matches, anything like that we want to discuss. Maybe the final questions. Any thoughts?
It didn't even hit me that he didn't shoot a promo.
Neither did I.
That slipped my mind.
Whatever we think of Winter is Coming with Winter kind of ending from Dan.
I loved that because he was like standing in the snow.
Yeah, it was actually really cool. And wait, we haven't talked about it. The hood.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That's where I was going.
Oh, sorry.
The all black shirt, the hood. He was in the zone.
He was. Yeah. I love a sassy Dan Merle. Like, because I feel like he's just like one of those people where he's like the nicest person in the world. So like when you hear them talk trash, you're like, oh, that's cute. Well, he's being sassy.
You can definitely see there's a little spice to Dan Merle being in the dungeon. There's
definitely of course
a little bit of it, and it obviously when he's playing trivia, he goes back to the Dan Merle where he's just playing trivia. He knows what he does, but inside and out of all that, and him and Kaiser seem to work really well together as well. In the second round, they seem to have this really cool chemistry between the two of them, where Kaiser's like, I'm going to say what I need to say, but ultimately, like, I know who you are. I know what you want to do. You're ultimately the one who needs to decide all of this.
Yeah.
I mean,
they have so much mutual respect for each other. And the fact that Dan spun the same thing twice, and he said the Schmoedown gods just want me to play this slice, so I'm gonna play it, and I loved that.
I mean, you don't hang out with Kaiser and get a little bit of sass afterwards, right, Molly?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
We've seen it in the last month or so on this show. Trust me.
Just a little bit.
All right, let's get to if we're done with Merle and Snyder. Obviously, Merle's moving on to play Adam Collins, and we'll preview that match.
One last thing: no sexy numbers.
No sexy numbers.
Yeah, interesting. I felt like, I mean, I know that's her thing, and I was like, oh, maybe she forgot, or I was like, maybe she's just like trying to calm him down as much as possible, and like no messing around. We're gonna do this.
Calming Jeff down is more important than a shtick.
Yeah.
It wasn't like in that situation. It didn't seem like not appropriate, but like it
wouldn't have worked.
A good move when your player's kind of in a different headspace to be like doing your little funny thing. So, I mean, good on her for knowing.
It probably wouldn't have worked against Kaiser and Merle. It like other people, right? Some people respond to it like a Finstock. He responds to it, but Kaiser and Merle, like, they're not gonna care.
They're not even gonna comment.
at that point.
Yeah.
Unfazed.
But it'll be interesting. I mean, whenever the Stars' next match is, does she do it, or is it like a total cancel? I'm not doing sexy numbers or anything. That'd be interesting. All right. Well, so Merle's obviously moving on to play Adam Collins. That match is coming next month. Actually, it was announced on the stream. That'll be happening very soon. That'll be one of the pay-per-view events next month. Again, if you guys are not any kind of Schmoedown Patreon level, especially the 10, get over there and do it now. You get 3 pay-per-views a month. 3. A Throwdown, a Versus, and a Battlefield. And so far, I mean, the lineups that have been made for March, I can't wait to see what the lineups are for April. One of them being Merle versus Collins, on top of a lot of others. The next one we have for Battlefield is going to be a big one. Obviously, the Star Wars Championship plus Oyama versus Bibiani, which is massive. And so get over there and do that. But for now, let's go ahead and shift gears to these cutscenes that we saw. Cutscenes are back. They are back. We didn't get to see a lot of them.
Grace is back.
So we didn't get to see a lot of them last year. I know it was new doing the digital age and everything like that. But they have made it a point, and kudos to Christian and the whole crew for taking the time to do these. We saw it with the Laura and the Chandru cutscene early on, but now there's a number of them we can talk about. And I think the one that we can probably talk about that's going to have the biggest impact is the Grace one. Let's start with that because she was already mentioned. This was the preview to the pay-per-view on Friday. Essentially what happened is Christian came on with Dave Albert and Robert Kirkman, who are part of Skybound, and they had a little conversation.
They are Skybound.
They are Skybound.
Yeah.
It's Robert Kirkman.
Yes. But
to what Jill just said, like, part of me was always wondering, like, does Robert Kirkman really even know, like, about the Schmoedown? Like, obviously, like, that's his company and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, it was one of those things where you're just like, I wonder if he'll ever like show up. Like he knows what is going on. And then when he showed up, I was like, oh, okay. She did freak out.
Hardcore Walking Dead. Like, I could go through my wardrobe and pick out 12 Walking Dead shirts. I literally have a box of Walking Dead merchandise and signed stuff for my Walking Dead comics, all that jazz. So when I saw Robert Kirkman pop on my Schmoedown screen, I was like, my two worlds have like collided, and this is so surreal. And Robert Kirkman is here with Christian Harloff, and this is crazy. So my mind was just blown. And then Grace Hancock appeared on my screen.
Yeah, so they were having a conversation about just Schmoedown and how it's grown and everything, and then they dropped the whole thing of like, oh, we're going to give you a boss. And Christian's like, wait, like, I thought I was the boss. Like I'm the one who created the Schmoedown. Like,
not anymore.
And all of a sudden, we never, I don't know when I expected to see her again, but Grace effing Hancock pop up on screen.
We never had a feeling she would have been back, though, right? And
you know what's funny about it is, like, it's like the perfect role for her. It is literally the perfect role for her to be like the one pulling the puppet strings on an enormous level, controlling Christian and what he's doing. Because before, with corruption, right, and what Mike did with Anarchy, Mike did all this stuff, and then we found out that Christian was behind it, and he became from the commissioner to the chairman. Now it's Grace over Christian, and it's a whole different dynamic. What the hell is going to happen this year?
I am so excited to see what Grace has in store for Christian. What kind of new rules or guidelines she might put in place. I'm happy to have her be my overall boss.
I'm really hoping at some point, like in just like a StreamYard something, she just like, maybe Christian doesn't have the controls on that day, and she just pops in. It's like, "Hello, Christian," and scares him. Like, oh my god!
I love.
Has access to our StreamYards. It's Grace.
Yeah. I loved the promo though when Christian like literally threw his headphones down and everything. Like he got.
I died. I was like, I am dead. I have risen. I am dead. It was so good. Seeing Christian Harloff rage quit
Not perfect example or perfect definition of what happened. He rage quit that stream. That's
Rage quit. He full on pulled his headset off and went and like.
if Christian watches this, he's gonna be like, "Wait, what's rage quit?"
Rage quit. You rage quit. You rage quit.
I need a T-shirt that says "Schmoedown Rage Quit."
Schmoedown
Okay.
Rage quit.
And we'll obviously talk about this throughout the year because we don't know what's happening, what's going to happen. It's going to come up whether she has involvement with the tournaments or characters or teams or whatever. But we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Before we get to the next cutscene, Streamlabs has come in from Mr. Wheels, Will Watson, and with his usual one here, he says, "Just want to shout out the View Crew and especially the dungeon winner, Dan Merle. Can't wait for him and Molly to have belts."
Ooh.
They're coming. They're coming. Can feel it.
3 belts in the dungeon at one time.
It happened.
Sounds good, right?
Mhm.
It sounds right. Something
There's
about that
sassy
sounds
Molly
right.
Damon. There's that sassy Molly Damon. All right, next cutscene here is obviously a big one. It's an ongoing one that's going to continue for at least time being. That's Andrew Guy. Andrew Guy. We had this interesting cutscene at the beginning of the week where we saw him waking up in the bed. He's got the old school Team Action suit on. The music is slowly playing in the background. He's drinking the whiskey. He's doing the pointing in the mirror and everything, which was brilliant. And then at the end of the pay-per-view on Friday, we see him in Ben Bateman's apartment complex, like calling for him. And Andrew Guy is back in 2017, whereas Ben Bateman's in current times, and he's like, "Dude, where's your mask?" Like,
Yeah.
Why are you telling me that?
and it's such, and the fact that because obviously Ben and Drew they run a channel together and they're such good chemistry with each other. It feels such fluent between the two of them that like it feels so real in the acting and everything. I am so excited to see where this goes because if Andrew Guy thinks that he's back in 2017, how is that going to affect Ben Bateman as a player, as a personality, with this guy like over his shoulder, like team action, team action, team action, team action?
He's got to get ready to play Mance.
And that was great. That was so great. I'm so excited to see what happens with this, wherever it goes.
Yeah, he's got some kind of amnesia going on. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, the COVID has affected all of us in various ways. So if this is how Guy is handling it, interesting choice. But
this is exactly what I thought of. He was in a WandaVision.
Oh,
Ooh.
That's the first thing I was like, oh, he's in his own version of the Hex.
yeah. He just made himself a little hex.
Interesting. That's a good way of putting it, I guess. Putting him in a little hex.
Right? Yeah, being back in 2017. Man, what a time to be alive.
Right. I'm just so happy to even have some resemblance of Team Action. Like, even if it's not really Team Action, just having even some form of Team Action makes me really happy.
Well, so what do you guys think the possibility is? Like, because obviously there's something's going to happen. He's not just going to like walk around with amnesia and then just go away. Like something is actually going to happen. And Ben being in the dungeon and, you know, Molly obviously being in the dungeon as well. And them having 12 spots at the moment. Like, what do you guys think that, and it's early on, but what could possibly come from this?
I already told you through my theory.
Well, why don't you voice it to the world, Brian?
I don't know if I want that getting out.
I say that and not say anything.
I don't know. That I feel like my theory is so good that I don't want to say anything.
You don't want to give the writers any ideas, is what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
I gotta be honest, I have no idea as to what could happen. I'm just enjoying the ride. Like, wherever it goes, that's cool.
Spill the
Well,
tea.
Zach's telling me to spell it.
I'm just enjoying the ride right now. Like, I'm loving this old-fashioned, before he went insanely crazy Andrew Guy. Like, I'm loving back my heel Andrew. It's back, and I love it. So I really don't care what happens.
Chuck, you don't want me to spill my one. You're going to be upset if I say what it is.
I know this one's super simple, but I tend to agree with what a couple people are putting in the chat, that this could be a possibility. I know that'd be like, well, he's just dropping Jericho because of Roxy, but
would have to drop someone to pick him up.
exactly. That's the dilemma. It's not as easy as everyone thinks it is. Just for Kaiser to drop him, and it does fit. It would fit because think about it. Ben Bateman would be playing with the 2017 version of Andrew Guy, not the now. The 2017 version of Ben.
Wouldn't be able to answer questions from movies that came out between 2018 and 2020.
Now
Yeah, what if he got new releases?
that is
what do you have? Because knowing Andrew, he would want to stay in character, so he's not going to know the answer to those questions.
what if he got asked the question for what Knives Out? What? And he's like, what's Knives Out?
What movie?
What's Knives Out? That's interesting. That is very interesting. And we have to keep in mind, there's still this thing about the Schmoedown, right? How does that play into all of this? Because he was abducted at the end of last season, and now the next time we see him, he's in his team action suit with the music, brushing his teeth to whiskey, I imagine, doing the whole Andrew Guy thing.
Changing his sunglasses to his other sunglasses.
Yeah.
Maybe the Schmoedown cloned him and created a clone that's from 2017.
White Andrew Guy? White Vision? White Andrew Guy?
Yeah.
I like Vision.
Maybe different terminology, but yeah. We got it.
I just had to say it for character reference, Jesus.
I was thinking more like Palpatine and cloning Palpatine, but sure.
But he hasn't seen that movie, Jill.
He hasn't seen WandaVision either, Jake.
Maybe he's in his own WandaVision.
Maybe.
You would just pretend to guess the right answer, then make a snide remark about it. Stuff that doesn't
That
exist.
also sounds pretty much like Andrew too, so that could be a thing.
Wander Guy.
Should I spill my theory?
Wait, hold on. I hope he gets a question that is now wrong because something has changed to 17, like top box office earner or something.
That would be funny.
That would be fun.
I guess I'll spill what I think it is. Okay, so we know that Chandru and Laura are planning a coup. What if the coup is to get Winston out? So this season, Andrew is the coach, manager of Swag.
My only question is, how does Ben Bateman fit into it? That's the only thing.
Bateman's going to move on. He's in his own thing with the dungeon. And since maybe he can't join Ben, he's going to take him down with his own team.
He doesn't even know factions exist.
I just don't know how Chandru and Laura, why would they have loyalties to?
Yeah, why Andrew Guy?
Yeah, why Andrew Guy? I don't know that they would trust him
because
after all
he's
the
dastardly
Schmoedown
now. He's going to be dastardly.
Yeah, he's back to dastardly, but
oh, there you go. Look at what Cloner said. And the S in Swag stands for Schmoedown.
Maybe Laura and Chandru are Schmoedown.
Laura's the one who beat him in that back alley. She was like, listen here.
She was the one in the mask.
I mean, if anyone's going to beat me up in the back alley, Laura for sure is going to be one of those people that's going to kick my butt. So
it's definitely going to be interesting. It is definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. It's cool to see cutscenes back, and there's cool to see so many of them. There's a lot of threads going on in the Schmoedown right now. Zach, there you go. Schmoedown.
He's been here. He's been here all of 5 seconds, and he's already dropping bombs like that.
Wow.
Ooh, I like it.
Interesting. There you go. Schmoedown wiped Andrew Guy's memory.
Memory. All of it.
Interesting. But yes, we'll obviously be keeping tabs on all the cutscenes that are happening in all these matches. A lot of cool threads are coming with Christian and Grace, with Andrew Guy and Ben Bateman. We saw what happened with Chandru and Laura as well. There were a couple cool ones that obviously happened. There was the one between Bateman, Merle, and Kaiser. Just kind of like a little conversation between the three of them. And kudos to Frank Janis, who clips them out over on the Schmoedown Extras channel, guys. Mm-hmm. If you're not following that channel and maybe you miss a cutscene or you want to go back and watch it, it's a really cool channel to get all kinds of like clips of what's happening in the league. Like the conversation between Winston and Chandru after Chandru's loss is on there, and the post interview with Jen. The cutscenes from last week are on there. Go check that out. It's a perfect way to kind of stay up to date. They just pop up on your YouTube page, and you're able to watch them and check them out if you're not following that already. All right, I think that's going to wrap up tonight's show. We covered a lot. We obviously covered a lot. For all of you who may have missed the beginning of the show, we had the great Amaru Moses with us at the beginning of the show for the first half hour. As he says, my name is my name. My name is my name. And he is obviously has a bright future in this league. And we got a cool conversation with him at the beginning of the show. We covered the 2 matches that started the week. And then we got into Marisol McKee and Vinny McCuso plus the pay-per-view. And
are we making picks for this week or no?
We can make picks, actually. Let's finish. We'll make quick picks because we'll obviously talk about them on our reaction. Make sure you guys are checking out our reactions each match day. But here are the matches this week. So on Wednesday, we have an IG match between Saul and John Humphrey. Thursday, we have the rookie debuts for Brother Lomas and Frankie Alvarez.
Yes.
And then on Friday, we have Chance Ellison and Brendan Meyer. So 3 really big matches this week. Let's just quickly around the horn because we'll do a little bit more discussion on them on match reactions. But quickly, let's start with the IG match. Molly, I'll go this way with you. Saul and John Humphrey.
That's a Den versus Mercs, if that matters to anyone.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Are you looking at your fantasy board? Who do you
No.
have?
Oh, I should be, though.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second over here.
Who I got? Let's see here.
This is a tough one for me because I don't know either of them that well.
I'm going Saul.
That's who I was gonna say it was gonna be my gut reaction to say I was gonna go with Saul, but
I think he can be real sneaky this year. He played really well against Hannah last year, and I think he took the entire offseason to kind of like fully embrace this IG player that he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he can make some real damage. I'm picking Saul.
Neither of them are on my roster, so
Same with me.
I agree. I'm gonna have John Humphrey and not Saul. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Saul on this one as well. If I'm not mistaken, he came very close to beating Brandon.
Yeah, it came down to his 5
year.
It was the medal question in the MCU. He misinterpreted his 2 medals between the X-Men universe and the MCU.
Son of a bitch, I have Humphrey. So then I'm going with Humphrey then, apparently. God, this happens every time. No, I'm going to stick with Saul. I think Saul is out for vengeance this year and could be quite scary.
Jill?
Now, heel Sean would want me to pick John Humphrey because, the Den kind of betrayed Mr. Sean Sullivan in the draft. But number one, we're going to have a fun match because it's John Humphrey and Saul. But I got to take Saul on this one. I think Saul didn't really get a chance to show what he could do last season. And the one match we saw him, he played a great game. And I think he's hungry. So I'm going to go with Saul on this one. But it's going to be a fun match.
And I will say, I would elaborate this on later, but I'm picking Saul a lot because John Humphrey seems to be good at specific stuff. And
it's going to be interesting to see what the new slices do.
Yeah, that could hurt him because Saul seems like a much better overall player. At the moment, anyway. At the moment. All right, next one is a rookie matchup of 2 gentlemen we don't really know much about. That is Brother Lomas for the Exchange and Frankie Alvarez for Suspects. We obviously had Frankie on the show a couple times, actually, at our rookie special, and then he came back after the draft. I'm going to pick Frankie because I know more about him than I do about Brother Lomas. I know Brother Lomas is kind of like a lot of people are talking about him, but I don't know anything about him. I don't. And so I'm going to go Frankie just right off the bat just because I've talked to him. I've kind of got where he's coming from, and he seems like a guy who really knows his stuff.
Yeah, you want me to pick you? Then come on our show. But no, I'm kidding. No, I know nothing about Brother Lomas. I'm excited for the promo because I have a feeling it's going to be
in black and white. It's going to be scary. I mean, yeah.
I hope he plays in black and white too. Like that would make me laugh.
He can edit his camera. He can edit his stuff.
That's what I'm saying. So I think I'm gonna go with Frankie as well on this one.
I think I would probably go Frankie also, but I'm excited to see both of their character work either way.
Yeah, you have this old school scary priest character versus like the New York sports guy.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting combination.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Jill?
Yeah. I again, this is one of those hard. This one's gonna be hard for me because they're both rookies. So it's like, who am I supposed to pick? I don't know what either of them can do.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Frankie, so there's that. He's very passionate, and I love he's got that New York sports swag going on with him. But the mystery behind Lomas intrigues me very much, and it's giving me this old school like wrestling vibe. And all I know of Brother Lomas is that him and Sean have interacted in Facebook comments because you got Brother Lomas and the Saint. So they talked a bit, like in character. That's all I know about the guy. And from what I've seen, he's kind of scary, but I'm intrigued. So I don't think I'm going to name somebody, but just because I don't know. But I am very interested to see the character work in this match. And I am very interested to finally be introduced to Brother Lomas.
Agreed.
Sean has Brother Lomas. If that.
Yeah, because they were going at it on Facebook.
Frank has two so far. Frank has 2 people playing this week. So
yeah, I got nobody. So here's your time to catch up.
Finally,
I think I have. No, I have chance. No, I don't have chance. I don't have anybody.
Okay, so the final match of the week is the Friday match. It's a big one. It's a singles match between Chance Ellison and Brendan Meyer. 2 guys who came in the league at the same time. Chance had a little bit more success early on, but Brendan has definitely caught on as of late. And both of the same factions as last year. 2 guys who have really just been on the cusp of making this singles division kind of like their own, right? They've always been so close. You know, Brendan took Dan Murrow to the wire last year in New York, and Chance has obviously been very close at times in other matches.
It's overtime.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to go with Brendan. I do think that Brendan maybe this year kind of takes like that extra step. He's back with Coy. He's got Biz by his side still, which is a big thing. Plus, I'm just a Mercs guy, kind of ride or die there, so I got to go with him. But that's no slight to Chance. I think Chance is, if he can continue what he did last year, he can turn into an all-time player. He could really turn into an all-time player. And maybe this is the start, but I'm going to pick Brendan.
Well, either way, for our fantasy league, Dwayne comes out on top because he has both of them. So he gets points no matter what for this one. So I'm picking whoever I want, and I'm picking Chance on this one.
I have to agree with Brian. I'm going to go with Chance. Just because watching him play he's so in the zone. Oh, are we in the
everybody who's the Cobra picks? You know, like losers.
Gotta go with my crap, man. Got this.
I think it'll be close.
I'm guessing you're picking the Cobra.
It's gonna be I think it's gonna be a barn burner, as they would say. Whatever the phrase is that people like to throw around.
A barn burner. Yeah, barn burner.
I mean, we got 2 former teams champions.
Yeah.
They both won last season too, I believe. Yes, they were
both team title holders last season, and Chance obviously had the shot at the IG belt as well.
Yes. So
and we've talked about it, but Brendan took Adam Collins to overtime. So
he did.
They both had huge success last year.
It's gonna be an interesting one.
It's true.
What a great matchup too.
Yeah.
This whole year, the first couple weeks of the season is just bonkers. The pay-per-view with
first couple of weeks, we already have the whole entire month planned out.
Well, no, I'm just saying so far.
Oh yeah,
that started last week's matches. What we're previewing this week. I mean, if this is kept up all year, my hair's gonna be gray by the end of the year. So,
or you won't have any.
Or I won't have any. It's very true. That's very, very true. All right.
Do you want to put the standings up for what it is right now?
Yeah, I can throw them up. Not a whole lot is impacted so far. Here's what we have so far for the standings. Oh, it's a P.
Oh, it's see-through.
So here's what we have so far. The Dungeon is up top with 7 points, followed by the Suspects at 7, Swag with 4, and Corruption at 2. And the only team that doesn't have any points that has a game is the Mercs. Obviously, the 3 at the bottom don't have any matches. The Stars do not have a match this week, but both the Den and the Exchange do. And so the Stars won't be able to. Let's see when. I think the Stars play the following week.
Wait,
Yeah.
Is this the old one? I just realized because Snyder played.
Oh, Snyder did play. You're right. Yes, that is the old one. Yeah. But
So this is without Dan.
They have 0 points still, but they're 0-1. They have 0 points, but they're 0-1. So Snyder is the
My fault
there. But they don't have any matches this week. The Exchange and the Den do. So the Exchange and the Den will get their first points. Everyone in the chat, that is the old one. That is the old one. So
my fault.
But we will have that weekly. Also, to all of you who may be wondering, our fantasy points and standings will be released every Monday on Twitter. You guys can check those out. They'll be released there. If you're not on Twitter, maybe I'll post them on the Facebook page. But I'll release them every Monday there with a graphic of how our points stand. So check that out. But for now, that's going to wrap up today's show. This week's show. Make sure you guys are checking out our reactions weekly, guys. We're not just here on Sundays. For now on, we are here on Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays as well. A mixture of us. Some days there's gonna be 3 of us, 2 of us, 4 of us, just due to schedules and us doing stuff and stuff like that. But we do reactions on match days. So join us there where we play along, we react, and we have fun doing that. And then, of course, here on Sundays. And I mentioned up top, but our Patreon, if you're interested in more stuff for POV, check out the Patreon. Watch-alongs, extra reactions, Q&As, all that good stuff involved in there. And then, again, our next episode of Happy Hour, March 20th. Mark it down. March 20th at 5 p.m. Pacific. Jill and Molly will be joined by Deception. They will be joined by Deception. So make sure you're staying tuned for that as well.
And drinking delicious drinks.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Before we get out of here, let's go around the horn real quick. Jill, where can everybody find you online?
I am on Twitter and Instagram, Jilly Marie, 2 Y's, 2 E's. You can also catch me on the Projukin. I believe they are ranking the MCU movies right now, so you can probably catch me walking in the background and shouting at things from the sidelines.
Mr. Brian.
You can find me on Twitter at Biavalcino. I almost forgot for a second what it was. And also Apocalypse Movies.
And Miss Molly?
I am at Molly Damon on Twitter and Twitch, Molly Mander on Instagram, and you can find me over at Star Wars Explained, talking Star Wars. Same old, same old.
All that is in the description, guys. Very easy to find all that stuff down there. You just can click all the links. PJ's in there. Molly's Twitch is in there. Go check those all out. Schmoedown POV is our Twitter. Streamlabs for questions. Patreon. You can find me on socials everywhere at Qui-Gon Jake. 2 N's because someone else took it before I did. And yeah, here on Sundays at 6 o'clock and match reactions weekly. So again, thank you to everyone who had asked questions. We really appreciate the donation, guys. We love you all. Thank you so much for joining us each week. To everybody in the chat, keep it up. We love having conversations with you guys. And then also, if you're interested, let us know which guests you want us to have on the show. But until then, for Molly, Brian, Jill, and myself, we are POV. Thank you so much, and we will see you guys next time.